Hello everyone. I have found a little piece of history, and when I say history, this has been a couple of years in the making. I've discovered the signatures already prepared, and they were shoved into this baggie, and I had them in a box. As is my wont, when I'm tidying up, everything from the table goes into a box and I go through it eventually. Well, eventually came along, and when I found the signatures, I thought, I have to do something about this. So today I've sat here and I've made the cover out of a box. I think it was, what was it? Apple and rhubarb pies. They were yummy. I only got them yesterday, so the pies were delicious. And I turned the box into, I cut it down, of course, because it was, decent size. But cut it down and made the cover for this book. Sewed in the signatures, covered the book, prettied up the cover, made the ribbon. That I've put two eyelets in, one back, one front. I thought if somebody wants to cut the ribbon and make it, a wraparound or whatever, the ability is there to do that. But let me show you what I've done here. Put the ribbon over there. I'll show you how I did this after I've shown you the journal, because when I showed you my little tall junk journal the other day, somebody asked me how I did the ribbon, and perhaps I could do a video on it. So I've put together a little prototype that you can see. Okay, let's get into this journal. 3 signatures. Looks like I need some glue underneath that tape. I will do that when I turn the camera off. It's a bit embarrassing. Okay, this was on a exercise book, and it was the cover, so I cut the koala off as square as I could, and then fussy cut the leaves and put them up there. A little tag sits in there with a piece of paper from somewhere, I'm not quite sure where. These I obviously cut off something else, and I haven't backed it. So that's a little pocket. Now all of these came from travel books, and I just love the greenery of them. I really, really do. So there's the tag in here that I have collaged on. As you can see, the back is plain. Another part of a photograph from the book with a few lines on the back. The top pocket up here. Another piece of paper tucked in behind it, just to use for journaling. There are a couple of blank pages that I just popped in here this morning, because I thought, well, 3 pages to a signature isn't much, but it is what it is. As you can see, it's a bit of a big mouth, so I think I've done all right with it. 2 of these Polaroid type things that I did a few years ago, and I kept saving things, but as I said, it has to stop. Now I have a larger tag in here. Now this is a book page, this is some designer paper, this is an advertisement from somewhere. I think it was a piece of on a scrapbook piece of paper that I've just cut apart, and the back. Now as we go through these signatures, you will not see a middle, because I have glued them together so that I can put and turn them into pockets. So that's why you won't see the joins to signatures, or the middles of them. Now there's another little travel thing in there. This was from scrapbooking paper. I remember using a lot of that, and that was one of the backing cards to it, so I've put that in there as well. Well, not backing cards, but backing papers. And that's the end of the first signature. This one I got a little bit fancy, and I thought, okay, I've got this piece of board, let's do something with it. So I made a front of a house, and the vines are growing over it and down in the garden, yada, yada, yada. So there you go. A tall pocket here. There's a lovely vintage lady on her with nothing on the... Oh, it's more than a pocket. It's a little envelope that I've altered. There you go. I didn't even think about that when I opened the book. I just saw the tab up here and I thought, yep, that's a pocket. I didn't miss that page. Okay. Sorry, I waylay myself thinking I've done something that I haven't done. So those two sit down there in that tuck spot. And then I have a pocket in here as well. Now you'll see little odd pieces of washi tape, and I've reinforced some of the papered edge with washi so that it stays put. It's a lovely tag I did a little while ago. And I did this one this morning. I just cut off a piece of the board, the box, and I thought, oh, that's quite pretty. I'm going to use that as a tag. So part of the apple and rhubarb. There you go. And the little one, that came out of a packet of die cuts that were already pre-cut. So all I had to do was put a bit of ink around the edges, put a hole in it, and a little bit of crochet thread. Another little Polaroid card. I quite forget how I made that little flower. I think it might have been a fork. I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't ask me to do that one. I wouldn't remember how. There's some more of those advertisements. Another lovely Victorian lady. 2 mil Polaroids. Polaroids, there you go. There's a new word for you. Polaroids. Polaroid. Don't you love it when washi tape shows you up and starts to come adrift? And we all say no. It's a little poem, I can't remember. Oh, there we go. Georgia B. Adams wrote that poem. I'll just leave it there so you can have a little read if you so desire. If you want to have a look, just stop the video, just pause it and then come back to it. Okay, there's an envelope that I put on the back, put the poem on the back of, made a little pocket on the inside, put a butterfly, a little tag, some writing paper. This is another one of my little funny houses, and I've just decorated the page with it. I haven't put pockets or anything in this one, but I have over here. A little bit of my quilling, and just some stickers on a little card. I must do some more quilling because I really do get a sense of satisfaction with that. Now here's a little owl. I've got the punch that makes those, and all you've got to do is paper piece them and put them together. They're fun to do too. Another little envelope that I had, so that can sit in there. And a Polaroid with nothing on the back, but you can still write on it. No pocket here, just collaging, blank paper. There's a book, piece of book there, book page, and I put these two things in after I made the pockets. Another one of those little flowers. And another wee pocket. 2 pockets. Blank page. Another pretty page with collage, a little bit of ribbon, music paper, designer paper, text box, little piece of lace, and the last page advertising deep sea diving. And there's the diver again with some paper on the back to write on. So that, my lovelies, is the end of that particular journal. I can now package it up and do something different with it. Just look at it, love it, give it away, sell it, do whatever. The pretty pattern on the front came out of a die cut packet from Stamperia. Absolutely beautiful die cuts in there, really stunning. So if you're looking for something blue, go for that one. It's very pretty. Okay, now that's that. Now onto my ribbon closure, or ribbon strip, or fabric strip, whatever you want to call it. I start off with a piece, and I've only cut small ones. I didn't see the point in doing a massive big one if I have nothing to add to it at the moment. So I've just cut, not even cut, I tore a piece of linen from an old piece of bedding that I had. So it's just torn about 1 inch wide, and I've taken off all the frayed strips. I then took it down to the sewing machine, and I put some zigzag on the edge. Now, because this is very lightweight and I got a little bit close, I've got a tiny wee pleat there, but that really doesn't matter to me. It's just the fact of sealing off those frayed edges, because once you start fraying it, if they get down to the stitches, it's going to stop fraying. So you'll have this lovely border on the edge that's all frayed, but you know it's not going to go any further. So that's how I did that bit. Now from there, I've got my bits and pieces in a nice little backpack. It's too big to show you all in one piece, I think. But I've got lots and lots of ribbon and bits and pieces in this. And this is where I just throw all my odds and sods. So let's pull out a couple. That's too big. Let me see. What have I got in here? Oh, there's some little bits in there. Okay. So when I take it down to the sewing machine, if the thing's a bit too big, well, I cut them, but I'm not going to do that right now. So, pretending I've sewn that piece on, backstitch here and get down to there and need something else to put in. So, what have I got? This little piece will do. So then I lift up this piece here and put the next piece underneath it so that you can't see the joint edges. I backstitch over here and then continue on sewing straight stitch down until I get to the end of it, and then I can add another piece of stuff in. For example, this piece. So lift up the edge again, put it underneath, backstitch there, keep sewing until I run out, which will be about there, pretending, and put another piece of lace in underneath. So once again, you backstitch, you come down, you get to the end, and you backstitch again. So you're left with this beautiful piece of ribbon without all these bits on. If they're too wide, cut them off. So that's how I do that. And what I end up with is something like this. Now I started off with the blue, with the little ruffle, and I'll just get that out of the way. I then went to the apricot coloured one, but you can see I've backstitched there, and there, and there, and there, and at the end. So the backstitch then becomes part of the pattern, so it doesn't look out of sight. These little pieces I can put along the edge of a journal, or on the edge of a page if I'm doing a scrapbook page, or another type of journal, maybe my altered notebook. I can stick that along the side and have it a feature. But for the longer pieces, I love to do the journal ties with them. So that's what I'll be doing with this lot here. I've only gone so far stitching. I thought I'd better stop. I started to get a little bit weary. When you're sewing for, a couple of meters just in the one thing, your eyes get a little bit wonky. So I cut off what I've used on my journal today, and I've still got this little bit here. And I've got all of that there I can do. I've got a full big double sheet that I can tear up. So what I think I will be doing is spending a little bit of time tearing different widths, starting at 1 inch, 1.5, 2 inch. I wouldn't go any further than 2 inch, I don't think, unless I've got a massive journal, but I don't make very big journals. I make the smaller ones, so most of mine will be about the 1 to 1.5 inches, and then I can put them into, a bag or a box, especially for these, and when I'm in a sewing mood, I can sit at the machine and I can sew, and I'll have them half done, or all done if I don't want to go any further than just double stitching the edges. But that's how I do those, ladies. They're very, very simple. They don't take long. Not long at all. You've got some strips, you've got little bits of ribbon, you've got some lace. Anything that you can put onto anything else, you can put onto here. You could put paper on if you want, but it could get torn and damaged. But that's it. So thank you very, very much for coming to look at my little journal and listen to me and watch how I do these little strips. So thank you. I should have put it the other way. The shadows are starting to come in. It's getting later in the evening. Later in the afternoon, sorry. Okay, so thank you very, very much for coming. I do hope you like my little journal and my fabric strips. Give these a try. They're so, so easy. An old pillowcase will give you enough to do 10, 20 journals. I just happen to be lucky enough to have this massive, big double sheet. So, it's all good. All right, I'm going to love and leave you. I will see you sometime through the week and with something different. Okay, bye-bye for now. God bless. Keep smiling. Keep crafting. Bye-bye.